Hello there. So I had this genius idea today. I'm certain other people have already came up with it, but I've been using this website to get the IP address of my Tor exit nodes, and it just returns a JSON file. That API endpoint just returns a JSON file. So if I go, which is nice and clean, but it has its issues. Sometimes it returns status failed, which messes up this script. It just prints the exception, then the other part calls it again with a new IP address this time. But it's a mess, and I don't like using it. I would prefer if I actually got an IP address every time. So that website's response looks like this. It's also a single person who owns it. I think he's the guy who wrote the requests library. I'm not certain, but I think he's the guy who wrote this Python library. Um, anyway, but I thought, who never fails to collect your personal data, like your IP address, zip code, country, all that stuff, and also has servers that are probably always running? Well, let me tell you, Microsoft. So we need a US exit node for this to work. I don't think it works with Luxembourg. I'll check just in case, but storage. It doesn't. I know if it's German or Netherlands. It's actually not even German or Netherlands. I know Norway also, for some reason on Tor, they often pop up as Netherlands, and that doesn't work. New Tor circuit for the site. It won't collect your data. There we go. This one should work. It won't collect your data unless you're in the US. But the API endpoint, I've checked, the API endpoint still works. It might take a while. There we go. Okay. Here we go. And if we filter by IP, actually, I don't even know if that works. But here's the value. Here's the JSON file. So just copy that. If we format that, in this JSON file, there's a value called IP address, which is your IP address. It also holds a bunch of other stuff. Some formatter. All right. I think I've already done this before. Yeah, X. There we go. All right, if we look here, we get the location, the city, zip code, all this information, which you would have to ping some poor guy who's paying to keep his, well, he might not be paying, but he's probably paying for a server, or at least the power to run the computer. Anyway, so, or you could just take it from Microsoft, and they've got plenty of money to afford this stuff. You get all kinds of other information. I don't really see what other information you get. Anyway, so if you just steal these public endpoints, and here's the endpoint. I scoured through the network logs and found it. It's this one. So if we go to this URL, it'll give us the data. And this will work even if our current circuit is, say, Germany, right? No matter our circuit, this endpoint will still work. Even if it doesn't normally request the data, this endpoint will still work. And this is the final JSON path to that value. So if we run this, we first have to launch Tor. The Tor browser one, I think, runs on not 9150, but so for this to work, I have to run it separately. Anyway, and there we go. It gets our IP address perfectly. And if we can do that with anything. And we can also, of course, change this if we want a different thing, like say the country. We can, instead of detection, we just do not United States, geo country name. And then run this, and we should get Germany. I think that was, no, this is another ones. Anyway, yeah. So you aren't bogging down endpoints for people who actually need them. I'm using Bing. The scripts are running through Bing anyway, so I need the data that Bing actually gets. Even if Bing gets the wrong country code, I want to get the right country code. And I want to get the right country code for Bing. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what this website thinks. I want the exact response Bing gets. So this is perfect for me. It might not be perfect for everyone else, but I just thought, yeah, you don't actually have to use the endpoints you're supposed to. You could just use some random website's endpoint. And I checked Reddit. I was going to just take it from Reddit. Reddit does not appear to collect your IP address and save it. I don't see an API endpoint for that that's public. And I know they want to charge for their API, which I'm never going to pay for. And that's the whole reason I was going to steal it from them if I could. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Hope you found this interesting. It's, I don't know. I never even thought of doing this. I'm also kind of new to this whole thing, but